Tellor has some crazy price action with super steep moves, pump and dumps, and very recently it picked up steam again. Where could this lead us? What is happening behind the scenes? We will look at on-chain data, find out some interesting stuff, I can tell you, and of course do some technical analysis as well. So without any further ado, let's go. Welcome back to another episode of Philprints, your one and only soft crypto finance and trading. In case you don't know, Tellor or TRB is a decentralized Oracle protocol. On their website, they have a 2-minute video that explains everything, but I will break it down for you. So in general, an Oracle brings outside of blockchain data into the blockchain because the blockchain itself is kind of a black box. So this could be weather data, price data, and much more. And Tellor does this in a fully decentralized way. That means anyone can provide data to the Tellor network and anyone can report, validate, and check it. And the TRB token is used as a tip to incentivize this exchange of data. So on one side, you have a user who needs outside of blockchain data. So he pushes this request into the Tellor network with some TRB token attached as incentive. And then the first one who provides this data from outside will get this TRB token in exchange. And on top of that, if someone realizes that the provided data is not accurate, then he has the right to report this. And then again, it will be validated by users on the network by some kind of democratic voting system. So I tried to explain it in a simple way. I hope you got everything. Once again, if you want to dive deeper, have a look at their official video. Actually, this is very similar to Pyth. I've already made a video about it, actually one of the first videos on my channel. The only difference of Pyth is they specialize on price feeds, not only crypto, also stock markets, commodities, and so on. And it's not provided by anyone, but by major financial institutions, push the data directly onto the network. Back to Tellor. As you can see here, we had a crazy pump within the last couple of days. We were at around $45 and now we're at nearly $92 within 4 days. So a 2x in 4 days, not bad. But this price action is not out of the ordinary for Tellor, as you can see here. It's full of crazy spikes. And if you're watching TRB for some time, you know that it has been one of the best performing assets from September last year to the very end of last year, where it did more than a 20x. Now, where it gets interesting is the on-chain data. And we'll have a look at that with my token demand analyzer. The first thing we can notice is that within the last 30 days, we have a record creation of new wallets. And this is not just one spike, it's multiple days. More specifically, this is the time period within we saw this pump. And new wallets means most likely new market participants, so people who've created a wallet for buying new TRB through a DEX. But it could also be whales that split up their TRB onto new wallets. But as we've seen a price increase alongside this makes the former case more likely. Then when we have a look at the transaction activity, this shows a high activity alongside these new wallets. This is usual. But what the transaction activity is showing us as well is oftentimes local tops and bottoms. So on May 2nd here and May 5th, you can see we had this first local top, and on May 5th, we had the second local top. Similarly here on April 12th and April 13th, and also April 16th, this is here, here, and here. Now, if we go ahead and take a look at Plankton wallets and whale wallets, we can see some more divergences. For reference, a Plankton wallet in this case is a wallet that has a minimum of 10 TRB. And with TRB sitting at around $90, this means $900 of token value in these wallets. And the whale wallets have a minimum of 10,000 tokens. So that means around $900,000. This also means that we have way less whale wallets at the moment, around 40 than Plankton wallets, which at the moment are 1,650. Now this chart begins from the token inception of TRB. So of course at the beginning there was a big accumulation. But what's really interesting, since beginning of September 2023, these Plankton wallets, meaning retail, have become less and less, despite price going only up. And this is very unusual behavior. Normally, in 99% of the cases, you see retail wallets increasing while price increases because they think, all right, price will increase further and further and further, and they want to become millionaires on this move. So normally you see whale wallets decreasing or selling off into a pump, but not retail. So for sure, this rally is not retail driven. And as you can see, whales increased during this pump here till the beginning of October. Then they started to sell off. So this means whales accumulated during this part here. And then during this part, they started to sell off into the pump. Then they bought again, sold off again, end of February. Now very recently they're buying again. This means after the dump, they accumulated again, saw there was no follow through, sold off again, price went down further, and then they started to accumulate again here before or during this big pump we've seen in the last days. So most likely this is very, not to say fully, whale driven. Looks a little bit like manipulation. On the hourly view over the last 30 days, you can see that retail is now scaling in. Well, this is nothing too serious. At this point here, we are looking at 1,600 wallets, and here at the top, it's 1,660 wallets. So this is nothing significant. Whereas we have 30 whale wallets, and remember, a whale wallet has minimum of $900,000, and just this one spike here brought us to 41, which means around $10 million of additional capital on chain. Now, another very interesting thing, if we have a look at statistics, is, and that is also pretty unusual, from the top 100 wallets, more than 60% are in a loss. More than 50% didn't buy on a decentralized exchange. So if they didn't buy on a DEX, where did they buy? Well, there's only one possibility: they've bought on a centralized exchange. And therefore we can see 40% of the trading volume of spot TRB happened through Binance, and another 13% happened through OKX. And we also have quite some significant trading volume of perpetuals, also on centralized exchanges, mostly Binance, LB Bank, CoinW, which of course also has an effect on price. So once again, only the small part we can see on chain already looks extremely well driven. And then we have this black box centralized exchange part, which intensifies my feeling that exchanges are playing pump and dump games right here. But let's continue with the price chart and some technical analysis. But before that, please make sure to enter my Telegram group, which comes with one of my trading indicators and a 1-hour trading course that explains it and helps you to build your own strategy for free. I want my community to thrive. Secure your spot while it's still free. This may change for new members in the future. Link is down below. All right, so what I can tell you beforehand, this is a little more risky than other coins because of this crazy price action. But should you therefore ditch TRB? Well, in the end, you decide, but as you can see, we did like 50x here. And even when the trend was in full action, you could have bought in and made money. The important thing for handling these kind of projects is to be on the lookout. Don't just deploy your capital and look into the wallet 1 year later. You should at least know how to read the trend, how to determine if a trend is still intact. And this is, by the way, what I'm explaining in the course I've teased to you. Because you're not only getting my indicator, I also explain you how to use it and build your own strategy, as I told you. Now, the first thing we can see here, for this whole time, we've been in a downtrend. We have multiple bearish retests with some fake outs that brought us more down and down over time. And this very recent pump, although it's most likely fueled by whales, has broken this downtrend. We went above, established this golden line here, and this is very important, this line, as support, which was former resistance, for months and months on end, and pumped straight up from it again. So if you don't immediately break down here to these lows, this looks worthwhile. Of course, if we zoom in a little, and this is an important part here of my field prints reversal bands, this here shows us when the trend is a little weakening, and if we hold this white line, then we can expect further upside. If we break down with a candle close, this decreases the probability for a pretty high degree that we, at least in the short term, go down. So this is similar to this point here. This was the level to hold, and we pumped straight up from it. Therefore, we knew we don't have to look at lower prices, at least in the short term. Now, if you ask yourself, where could the price of TRB be in the future? Don't worry, I've got you covered as well. As you can see here, if we measure this move with the Fibonacci tool, we can see that we went to the 1.618 here. This was basically a fake out. And if we repeat that from here to here, this means we could look at $3,270. Might sound a little crazy, but actually this move was 50x, and this would be a mere 35x. So likely or unlikely, you tell me, but I think it's actually possible, especially with these crazy fake outs. But of course, this is only if whales are still pumping this. So if you want to play it, don't forget to get out early, because otherwise whales might leave you trapped in your position. If you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, please ask yourself why, and do it now. You really don't want to miss any of the next videos. As always, this was not financial advice. This was Prince for you. Until next time, crush the markets. Goodbye.